Oh no. Oh wow. Wow. I was sitting here and it was so quiet. Can y'all hear me now? Give me a yes you can hear me. Oh my Lord Jesus. I was my audio there at all? Or did I just embarrass myself? Jermaine, did I literally like sit there and talk for a good 2 minutes with no audio? If I did that, then I'm embarrassed. So y'all got to forgive me. Just chalk it up to my goofiness. I apologize. I apologize. I apologize. So let me repeat a couple of things that I mentioned earlier. Man, that sucks. All right. So first thing is I went to the Daytona 500 this weekend and I saw LeVar Scott. LeVar Scott is our B1 driver. That's the brother that we respect. That's the brother that we support. We bought him a racing simulator so that he could be the best. And he went out there and he got it done. He was driving around that track 200 miles an hour, got fourth place out of 40 drivers. So he's the only black one, top 5 finish. Let's clap for LeVar Scott. Look him up. Look up LeVar Scott. Follow him. We have to create our own celebrities. He's a B1 driver. He has a black business school racing suit. He has a black business school racing helmet. We have bought a simulator for him so he can practice and train. So that's what I saw this weekend. Also, Trump came out to the Daytona 500. That was kind of crazy because he flew Air Force One like over the stadium so everybody could see it. And of course, all the hillbillies like, yeah, that's our president. I love my president, right? So that was interesting. With that being said, I wanted to mention a couple things. One, it turns out African leaders just approved the creation of a $20 billion economic stability fund. They just decided to give themselves an endowment. This is coming from the African Development Bank, the AFDB, and this fund basically is going to allegedly help them stave off any sort of debt crises in different countries before it actually happens. I think that's a great idea. I love it because, one of the great financial cripplers out here is actually debt. Debt will destroy you if you don't use it properly. And so a lot of African countries are in a lot of debt and they have a lot of external payments. They have a risk of default. And many countries in the region are grappling with pressure from higher spending, low government revenues, climate change, things like that. So this is a good thing. So that's great to see. I'm very happy about that. Now, with that being said, let me talk about some other things that are happening in the world. And actually, at the end, what I'll do is I'll give you a stock that I like right now. I was looking through and taking notes, and I'm going to go through my notes and I'm going to grab one and just share it with you. Again, not investing advice, but actually, let me just give it to you now. I'm going to buy shares in Cisco Systems, CSCO. Cisco, I believe, can take advantage of what's happening right now with AI. I do believe that the price earnings ratio is appropriate for an entry point for the stock. So I'm literally opening up my E-Trade account right now, and I'm buying shares of Cisco. You don't need to buy a whole share of stock. You can actually buy just a fractional share, but that's okay. Just buy whatever you can. I'm not saying buy this stock. I'm saying buy something. You got to invest in something, and we'll do that. Now, give me a yes if you can hear me. Give me a quick yes if my audio is coming through okay. I got to make sure my audio is good because earlier I didn't have any audio and I was just talking away, and I should have looked at the button. So can you guys hear me? Give me a yes if you can hear me. Because if I don't see any yeses, then I'm gonna have to keep on asking for yeses until I get one, or I'm gonna assume that you can't hear me at all, which means I probably need to hang up and go to bed. All right, there we go. Thank you, Fannie Wilson, Orlando Robinson. You saved the day. I appreciate you. All right, so moving on. Okay, so the stock that I like again is Cisco, CSCO. I'm literally buying shares of Cisco. This is not investing advice, but this is what I'm going to do with my money. And here's the funny thing about that: there was somebody, every now and then, it's an uphill battle to really talk about wealth and investing in the Black community. And I was talking to a friend of mine who basically said that a lot of his friends that have corporate or government jobs are really scared right now. They're really nervous because DEI is getting cut like crazy. A lot of these opportunities are disappearing, and some companies are holding the line, but a lot of companies are not. And we're kind of in a new world. We're in a new world where there's nothing special about being Black right now, and at least not in the eyes of others. And I think that's going to require some adjustments in thinking. And so one thing that I've mentioned is building your own. You guys know, my MO, you know what I believe and you know what I say about things like that is every Black child from the very beginning should be taught how to build their own so that you can endure situations like that. Just like that African Stability Fund is an endowment, a pile of resources to protect them in the coming economic storm, because the storm's always coming. You should have an endowment too. And a lot of families don't have it, maybe because they don't believe they can have it. And then if you just don't believe you can have it, then you'll never have it because you're not even going to do the work to try to have it. And one of the things that I said to the guy when he said, well, how can we invest? I got to fight with people sometimes on Twitter. I don't really fight with them. I just kind of help them, support them, and maybe help them gain some confidence, because for some reason there are some Black people who just believe that Black people can't do what white people can do, that white people are superior, and I forgive them because that's a curse, that's a disease. And what I told him was, I said, he said, well, Black people, how can they invest with what money? And I said, well, can you buy fast food? I said, I know Black people can buy fast food. So if you can buy fast food, you can invest. Can Black people buy Jordans? And the answer is yes, because if Black people stop buying Jordans, their business would drop by 30-40%. Can Black people go out to eat? Are Black people able to buy Lincoln Navigators and Cadillacs and the brand new 2025 Toyota Corolla that's advertised on BET? Well, if they couldn't buy those things, then they wouldn't advertise those things on BET. So ultimately, you can invest. You can invest because, remember, you're already investing. The problem is that you're investing in other people's legacy. You're investing in other people's well-being. You're investing in the car dealer. You're investing in the company that sold you those shoes. You're investing in your landlord. You're investing in other people's family, and you're not thinking about your own legacy, right? Because we consistently are trained to put legacy over labor, or labor over legacy. I say we do the opposite. I think it should be legacy over labor. I think that when you're working hard for other people, you're spending money with other people, investing in other people, you should also invest in yourself. Does that make me radical? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me a madman for saying that I believe that we can do as much for ourselves as we do for other people? Yes or no? What do y'all think? I mean, I really didn't process this, right? Black people built America. We built the damn country. So if we built the damn country, then we could build a community. Let me say that again. If we built the country, we can build a community. How in the hell is it that you can build a country? Take credit for building the country. Black people built this country. We did we built the damn thing. And then when somebody said, well, let's go build our community. What you talking about, Negro? You crazy. You crazy. You black people ain't got no money. Black people can't build nothing. But I'm like, but wait a minute. A minute ago, you were taking pride in the fact that you built things for other people. So how come you can't build something for yourself? Right. So that's a mindset. Wealth and economics really is a mindset. And I don't know who told Black people that we can afford fried chicken, but we can't afford stock. I don't know who told us that we can afford $250 Air Jordans, but we can't buy shares of Apple. I don't know who told Black folks that we can go and buy the new 2025, 2026 Cadillac Escalade, but we can't invest for our children. That's a mental illness. That's a sickness. And the sickness becomes even worse when you run into an economic calamity like what you're dealing with right now, right? When you have things like DEI and all that stuff being taken out from under you, then you're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Well, that is, in economists, we refer to that as an economic shock. An economic shock is when somebody comes in and shocks your butt. When something happens that you didn't expect, you get broadsided, you get hit from something you didn't see coming, and you've got to scramble to prepare. Because sometimes the culture teaches us to be reactionary instead of proactionary, we end up in a situation where we are not prepared, right? I've always been seen as the paranoid Black guy. I ain't gonna lie. I don't hate white people, but I just don't trust white people to take care of Black people. I don't hate the white man. I just don't trust the white man to take care of the Black man. I don't hate anybody else. I just don't believe any other community is going to take care of my children. And if that makes me crazy, then just call me the crazy man in the building, because I've been talking like this for years. I talk like this when times are good. I talk like this when times are bad. And right now, times are kind of bad, and my heart goes out to those who are dealing with the bad times. But I'm hoping that you'll hear messages like this. A finance PhD is not going to repeat this message 80,000 times just because I've got nothing better to do. I'm not going to repeat it without having research and scientific theory to back up what I'm saying. I'm not going to say this because I just want to hear myself talk. I say it because I care. I say it because I see things. And I'm going to tell you, we give a lot of attention to the shade room and rappers and all this other stuff, but ain't no rapper going to show up and help you pay your child's tuition. Ain't no rapper going to show up and help you make rent and mortgage money this month. Ain't no rapper going to show up and show you how to create some economic stability in the middle of a job loss. So I just kind of think we got to process this a little bit. And I'm not beating up on anybody. I'm just encouraging you to think outside the box. All right. Now, do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Sorry about the audio issue earlier. I apologize. You're listening to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. I'm not going to keep you guys for too long. I want to let you guys know I am on Spotify. So if you go to Spotify, look up my name, Boyce Watkins. If you like podcasts on Spotify, just look up Boyce Watkins, and I got some stuff in there. My goal is to elevate you in different ways. In fact, I teach finance every morning for free in our Millionaire Training Camp. You can go to drboyceelevate.com. That's drboyceelevate.com. And for those of you that are a part of that, we are doing a live Millionaire Training Camp in Miami, March 7th. So if you want to get a pass and get invited, you have to be in the Millionaire Training Camp to be invited. I don't want to invite anybody outside of the training camp because I want to hear from people that are ready, that kind of get the mission, that understand the assignment. So if you join the Millionaire Training Camp at drboyceelevate.com for free, then you will get an invitation to the live event that's happening March 7th. It's for members only. It's not for people that aren't quite ready, that don't quite get it, because we got a job to do. So feel free to go to drboyceelevate.com. We can get you started and all that stuff. Now, last thing I want to mention really quick is right now, today, the stock market kind of had let's see, I think the stock market dipped a little. I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I think it went down some. I was flying today. So if you were to look at the Dow, I know that a lot of the stocks that we look at in terms of stock options and stuff kind of had a little bit of a dip. Actually, the Dow went up slightly. It was pretty flat. It's the last 5 days, it's actually gone up slightly. The last month has been uneventful. The last 6 months has been extraordinary. The last year has been really good as well. The last 5 years have been insane. And so generally what I think is happening right now, you want to be really careful with the stock market because there's a lot of evidence to say that it's probably overvalued. There's a lot of evidence to say that you're probably going to see a crash in the near future. There's a lot of evidence to say that economic problems could be around the corner. You got trade deficits from Trump popping up. He's creating a lot of uncertainty in the global economic system. And I think that's going to affect your investments a little bit. Now, do I believe that means you should stay away from the market? No, I don't. I think you should always be in the market. But at the same time, these are some of the things that I've been seeing. AI is still a major player, but there is a question about whether or not AI is a little bit overvalued. And also in terms of just moving forward, I think that looking for those big stable companies and adding some of that to your portfolio might be a good move, like, some Coca-Cola or ExxonMobil or something like that, just these really stable cash cows. Even Philip Morris, I believe, actually became a good investment, believe it or not, even though cigarettes are out of style. So there's a lot of opportunity out there, a lot of money to be made. I wouldn't mess with Tesla unless you're ready for a wild ride. I think Tesla's going to benefit from the power of Elon Musk, but I think also Elon Musk, you never know what's going to happen with this Doge thing. They've kind of started a big culture war, and it's gotten really interesting, right? It's really interesting to see what happens when you have business people running the government, because that's what you have right now. The downside is that capitalism doesn't care about people. But here's the thing. Capitalism's been running your government for a long time, right? Capitalism has always been in the backdrop telling the politicians what to do. Now your politicians, though, are the capitalists. And I think that's what people are kind of freaked out about. But the truth of the matter is that Democrats and Republicans, most of them are owned by some corporation somewhere or a bunch of corporations. So when they try to say, well, the Republicans are a bunch of money hungry, greedy, blah, blah, blahs. Well, I think a great counterpoint is to point to all the Democratic and Republican politicians who have only made $250,000 a year, but somehow find a way to have a $90 million net worth. I don't know about y'all, but I find that awfully strange and awfully difficult to do. I don't know too many people who can make $250,000 a year and end up worth 90 million. So the game is rigged. The game is completely rigged. And the best I can do for you is to explain how the game works so that hopefully you can rig it in your favor. That's why we talk about ownership, investing. That's why we talk about the children and the babies. You got to train your kids on these things at an early age. Don't mess around, because the world ain't messing around when it comes to your child. So you can't mess around when it comes to your child. So anyway, guys, I don't have much else to say. I just wanted to pop in real quick and say hello. Tomorrow morning, we'll meet for class. If you want to join us, just go to drboyceelevate.com. And you can also text the word morning to the number 87948, and I'll send you a wake-up call. We meet at 10 a.m., 7 days a week for a millionaire training camp where we do economic elevation, and it's conversational learning. I think you'll like it. I know I had to miss class for a couple of days, but I will be in tomorrow morning. And then last but not least, if you want a copy of my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, you can actually get, I think it's like $7 or $8, right? So we're offering some $8 copies, limited time. If you want to go and take a look at my book, feel free to go to 10commandments.boycewatkins.com. that'll give you a special discount of 80% off the book. So if you go to 10commandments.boycewatkins.com, the price will drop from and it'll be an autographed copy. Autographed copies of my book are normally $40. I think now they're charging like $8 just for those who really want to get a copy. And maybe if you want to, you can buy a bunch of copies and give them away to kids in the neighborhood or something like that. This book is the real deal. And this is something that can really benefit you. Now, Ed Terrell says, asks a good question. Why should we train our people to be like the enemy? I wouldn't say be like the enemy. I would say beat the enemy. Just because you're investing, there's nothing white about investing. There's nothing white. Tell me if you agree. Give me a yes or no. There's nothing. Do you agree with this statement? There's nothing white about making sure your children are financially secure. There's nothing white about planning for the future. Do you agree with that? There's nothing white about strategy. There's nothing white about saving. There's nothing white about investing. There's nothing white about financial responsibility. There's nothing white about ownership. There's nothing white about preparing for the future. So stop thinking that white people are the ones who are supposed to be prepared, responsible, successful, on top of their game. And black people are supposed to be a bunch of bumbling idiot Keystone cops showing up a day late, $1 short, always begging, always scraping, always whining, always crying. That's not being black to me. You're not being black. You're not part of any culture I want to be a part of. When people say, well, that's the culture, you better get out of here with that nonsense. That ain't no black culture. That's buffoon culture. That's idiot culture. So don't be an idiot. Invest, save, teach your kids right. If I could replace a whole bachelor's degree with a good year of learning investing and entrepreneurship for every black child in America, I would do that. Also, if I could replace another year of a bachelor's degree with a year of learning a trade or a skill, learning carpentry, a year of learning plumbing, maybe a year of learning HVAC, a year of learning how to build a house, a year of all these other things. If I could do that, I would do that in a second, because that's where the money's being made. That's where communities get built. And the problem that you have is that you don't have anybody who knows how to build anything. Everybody walking around with these stupid pieces of paper, like, I got my bachelor's degree. Well, what can you actually build? What can you do? Can you build a community? Can you build a nation? Can you even build a family? Can you build anything? Because if you can't build nothing, then you're going to have to lean on resources provided by those who built before you. Professional athletes and celebrities, they can't build their own sports league. So they have to go and beg the NFL and the NBA to create an opportunity for them. But if you know how to build, then you can create your own. So that's my 2 cents. That's what I believe, and I'm sticking with it. All right, guys. So I'm going to get on out of here. Have a good night. God bless you. Again, if you want to get the 80% off on my book, go to 10commandments.boycewatkins.com. Use the number 10 in 10 Commandments, and it'll drop the price from $40 down to $8. And that's kind of a limited time offer, because I want everybody on earth to read this book, because I promise you, if you apply even half of these 10 rules of wealth, it's like Biggie's the 10 crack commandments, except these are the 10 black commandments. The 10 black commandments of economics. This will get you to the top. This will prepare your children for the best. This will get your community and your family on point 100 different ways. I think, honestly, I say this humbly, I put this book right up there with the best, strongest books ever written for our people specifically to solve a specific problem. That's what I did. And it's based on years of academic research and simple ideas that can make a big difference. So feel free to take a look. It's 10commandments.boycewatkins.com. All right, guys, God bless you. Have a good night. Thank you so much for listening. Sorry about the audio issues earlier. I'll see you guys in the morning. Take care.